Thank y'all for being here. All right, first question. Who's first? Ms.
Shall
Schultz?
we introduce?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thought you, Ms. Nancy Schultz. This is District 3, Democrat Nancy Schultz, and our Republican candidate, Mr. Kevin Wade. So, first question. The Chamber of Commerce represents just about 500 businesses. The majority of those are small business owners. Why should a small business owner vote for you? What will you do for a small business owner in Newton County? Ms. Schultz.
Well, number one, I am a small business owner, so I understand precisely how voting for a county commissioner impacts me as a business owner. Let's take, for example, the funding of the Chamber Economic Development. What that does is when you bring in economic development, you're bringing in jobs that essentially will ultimately raise the per capita income, and then those people can in turn utilize my business services. Also, from a county commissioning perspective, we vote on roads, we vote on infrastructure. If you don't have a good road, if you don't have a safe area, no one's going to come and patronize my business. So it's very important to me as a small business owner to make sure that I have someone who understands the small business owner's needs so that I can then be a good steward of the resources for the county, and that in turn helps the small business owner.
Thank you. Mr. Wade.
I agree. Small business owners do create jobs, and they're the ones that employ the citizens of the county. Just like Ms. Schultz says, the economic development that the chamber does encourages small businesses to come to the county. But one thing that I would try to do outside is to try to give the same tax breaks that the larger companies get, because if a small business wants to start up in Newton County and the taxes for that company or that individual is sky high, and let's say the next county over they can go start that same business up for less taxes, then I will try to do everything that I can to get that small business to come into Newton County, just so that we can create jobs. And the number one thing is to bring jobs into Newton County, and to look at all avenues to see how we can bring small businesses, large businesses, all into Newton County.
To clarify, because we hear that a fair amount at the Chamber in terms of incentivizing small business or startups, how would you actually do that and still protect the county and their tax digest?
Well, we would. It's the same way. We would work with the state legislature, just like Baxter took a tax. They have a tax break for numerous years. I'm not saying that we give small businesses that same type of tax breaks for over an extended period of years, but we would look at work with the legislature in the state of Georgia to see if we can offer that same type of tax digest. Because if the small business comes to Newton County, even if we give tax breaks for 5 years, that small business eventually will stay in Newton County. And over time, the tax breaks we give over a short period of time, we will regain over a longer period of time. And so that's where I would work with the Board of Commissioner Chair, who will then be the face of the state legislature and kind of lobby that way.
Okay.
Do I get a
I'll
comment
give you,
on
yeah,
that?
please do.
You know, as a small business owner, that was one of the questions that I had until I became a commissioner. And I think that one of the things that we have to remember is that there are ramifications to every time you give a tax incentive. And what we have done on the Board of Commissioners is we have tied those tax incentives to the number of jobs you bring into a county. So I think that we have to be very careful about the fact that if we do give a tax incentive or we've given abatement, there are ramifications to our budget. We've cut our budget over $10 million in the 4 years that I've been on this board. And when you cut the budget, you're cutting services. And those services impact me as a small business owner. If the neighborhood is not safe, then my business it suffers the consequences.
Very good. All right, let's go to the other end of the spectrum in terms of business, and let's look at industry. Our industry in Newton County, roughly 20% of our age-worthy workforce is employed by large industry, manufacturing specific in Newton County. What kind of programs would you propose putting in place to make sure that the industry that is currently here stays here and has opportunity to grow and expand? Ms. Schultz.
Do I go first again?
You do.
Okay. Well, I think the number one priority for any business is that business wants to look at their bottom line at the end of the day. They want to know that they are going to be profitable at the end of the day. So when we look at something that will entice businesses to either stay here, grow, expand, I think the most important thing that we can offer is that we can offer to them a strong workforce. Now, we do that in partnering with the Board of Education. We have this great facility here. I mean, look around you. This is fantastic. To have qualified employees, which the Chamber has done, is crucial. The fact that that you have on your Chamber of Commerce, you have a committee that's an existing industry council. I think it's important for us to continue to support that. I go back to the fact that as a commission, it's important for us to continue to fund infrastructure, roads, water and sewer, anything that allows that industry to come back here and make sure that that our services in the community are something that can support the industry. I think it's also very important. We funded a targeted industry study that gave us a clear picture of what the industries in our community value and how we can move forward to continue supporting them. More studies or actually acting on that study. I don't think we need any more studies, but just taking the study and actually acting on that study.
Thank you. Mr. Wade, you need me to repeat the question?
Yes.
All right. Knowing that 20% of our age-qualified workforce works in manufacturing in Newton County, what kind of programs would you propose putting in place to make sure that the industry that is currently here stays here and is supported to expand and grow?
Well, I would work with the industry and see what kind of needs they need, what type of growth expansion they're looking into. And then I would work with the chamber, to make sure that growth is, this is the type of growth we want for Newton County. And then I also would work with the local colleges in the county. We have two great local colleges in the county. And just to get the citizens of Newton County to be work ready so they don't have to go outside of Newton County to find employment, we can hire within the county to make sure that the employees that they hire are work ready and equipped to do the job that they're willing to expand. And also, to go back to the last question, to work with them to see if we can offer more tax incentives or other types of incentives to encourage them to build, to expand in Newton County so they don't have to go to our neighboring counties or to another state for those same tax benefits or tax incentives, or for the workforce in that matter, relocate so they can get those employees that they need to do the day-to-day jobs in those manufacturing facilities.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Wade, I'm going to start with you. The western part of Newton County is seen at times as disjointed from the rest of the county and Covington. During your campaign in District 3, what have you heard from people who are disconnected from Covington and dissatisfied with government? What do they want, and what can you do about it?
You are correct. They feel like it's a different time. A lot of people don't know on the west side what district they're in. Am I in District 2? Am I in District 3? Am I in District 4? And so it's difficult to go to someone's door and talk to them because at one point they may have been in District 2 or District 4, but now they're in District 3. And I'm hearing a lot of out there that they're dissatisfied with transparency. They don't want their government to be more open, more honest, for the elected official to be out in the community, and they're not getting that on the west side. And my campaign, the majority of it has been on the west side, going door to door, putting signs out, talking to people, and just being available. I've given my cell phone number out when needed. And so just to be open, to be transparent, to be willing to listen to their concerns on the west side.
I want to ask you kind of a secondary question on that, and then I'll let Nancy jump in here. But what do you think you can do in order to bring District 3 into our community? I mean, a lot of folks, it's kind of the opinion that they hit on I-20 and they go west towards Atlanta. I mean, what can you do to get folks kind of more inward focusing to all the great things that Newton County has to offer?
Well, we first must have to get out. We have to be out there. Ever since I've started running, I try to do most of my shopping in Newton County. I try to do everything in Newton County just because you are correct. They can go to Rockdale County, East Atlanta, and with that, because it's just easier to hop on the expressway and go that way. We have to be visible in the community, and I know Ms. Schultz does fireside chats, and on her website she does them 1 to 3 times a year. But if I'm elected, I'm going to do more than just 1 to 3 times a year, and I'm also going to let people know when those types of events, meetings, where they can be held at. They won't be held in one location. They'll be held all over the district because District 3 is a wide area of the district. I live in District 3, and not to be any unfair to Nancy Schultz, but I don't even know when the fireside chats were held, and I live in the same area that Nancy lives in, and if I don't know when they're held, I know other citizens don't know when they're held in District 3, and that's something that's got to be changed, and we have to put out there, and if we have to put it in the newspaper, go back door to door, say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, just to be more visible and say, hey, this is what Newton County has. This is what you can do in Newton County. And with the open forums and meetings when I'm elected.
Okay. Ms. Schultz, you need me to repeat the question?
Please.
Okay. So the question is, the western part of Newton County is at times seen as disjointed from the rest of the county in Covington. During your campaign, as you went door to door, you've heard from people who are disconnected from Covington or dissatisfied with government. What do they say, and what do they want, and what can you do about it?
Well, I think that what we have to remember is that on the western side of the county, we have a lot of strong subdivisions, and we have a lot of strong homeowners association. We have a group here from Fieldstone tonight, and their homeowners association is a very strong homeowners association. What we need to do is we need to continue to work with those HOAs. That's where their community is. We have, as Mr. Wade mentioned, I have fireside chats 2 to 3 times a year, and we have moved them around the county, but we need to do more of that. It is challenging to get the information out to all the residents, and so that's why Commissioner Sims and I have worked very diligently to get the website on the county website upgraded, and we're working on that now. And our plan is to actually put into the budget for next year live streaming of county commission meetings, any kind of events that are going on in the county. We're also working on right now a Salem overlay, and we work with stakeholders in the western part of the county to encourage them to participate in how they want that Salem district to look. Now, once that Salem overlay is completed, there will be services in the Salem area that they may not come into Covington, but they will still be utilizing services in Newton County. Last week, we approved a precinct in District 3 right on Salem Road. So the Sheriff's Department is now bringing the Sheriff's Office to the residents of District 2 and 3. So I recognize that it is a challenge, but I do believe that we are making steps to move in the direction where we're encouraging the citizens on the western side of the county to feel a part of the county and to feel like they have a voice in the county.
Okay. So last question of the evening will be, I'll let Mr. Wade start, and so you get to ask Ms. Schultz a question. So if you wouldn't mind starting and ask Ms. Schultz a question, and then Ms. Schultz will in turn get to ask you a question.
Going door to door in the district, especially on the west side, I've had many constituents in the district who have questions regarding the Neighborhood Stabilization Program in Newton County. Just recently, the Covington News reported in their legal section the presentment from the grand jury investigation of the Public Works Department. And one of the findings that they put in there that they recommended for the next grand jury would be to look into the Neighborhood Stabilization Program and the status. And I am told that you were one of two officials that were involved in this program. Since you were involved, can you explain why there were liens placed against these homes that rendered them unsellable, and will the taxpayers be responsible to satisfy these liens?
Well, first of all, let me explain the Neighborhood Stabilization Program for people that don't understand. Neighborhood Stabilization 1 was a program that was money from the federal government to actually help with stabilizing the slide in home values. And so in 2009, the Board of Commissioners unanimously agreed to accept federal funds for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. At that time, we selected a partner to help us in terms of the management of the program. Now, that program is run very carefully through the Department of Community Affairs, and every time there was a draw, not only did we have to submit records to the Department of Community Affairs, our legal team was involved in every step of the way. According to what our understanding is that the partner did not pay one of their subcontractors. And so that subcontractor then placed a lien on that particular partner. And that partner, because they were working in concert with the county, that's how those liens then came about that we were involved in them. Our attorneys have been involved every step of the way, and our hope is that we will recoup that money on the backside after we go through the legal process.
Ms. Schultz, you get to return the favor.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to commend you for running for office. I think that's exceptional that you want to run for office. My concern is that, for example, this week, I had a Board of Commissioners meeting last night that I didn't get home from until about 10 o'clock. Today I spent 3 hours at a leadership collaborative meeting. Tomorrow night I'll be at the Salem overlay meeting. And my concern is, how will you balance the demands of a family working outside of the county and a role as a youth minister with the demands of county commissioners?
Very good question. And I looked at all of that before I chose to run for Board of Commissioner for District 3. And it is a balancing act. It is a juggling act. But I talked it over with the church that I'm a youth pastor at, who graciously understood the importance of putting in proven leadership, good Christian values into the role of government, and who is very understanding of the willingness to allow me to run for office. I even talked it over with the management at Delta Airlines to make sure that it was okay for me to run, and given the time constraints that it would have to be involved in the community, to be that face for District 3. My management team behind me supported my decision to run. But my job at Delta, it gives me the flexibility to work from home or across the world. So to balance the schedule, to be at meetings, you do what you have to do in order to make it work. And that's what I will do in order to make Newton County the best going forward. And with my family, I would not have ran if my family, first and foremost, was not behind me 100%. And so they understand the demands. I'm out campaigning late at night, so I see it no different. I'm here tonight instead of at church. I have someone filling in for me. And that's how important I see the role of this district. And you do what you have to do to make this county great. I've tried to make it to every board meeting if I'm not out campaigning and such. So again, I will make it work if I'm so elected to be the county commissioner for District 3.
Great. Well, thank you both for your time and your comments.
Kevin? Thank you.